I love that this is feminine and I can freely share from my feminine side, and I don't have to be like, oh, this has to have a form or a particular structure. So I will share with you what centering is for me within a female perspective. So usually in a more masculine, and again, this is not, in a way, I will start saying I absolutely love men. I love to have men in my life and close. So whenever I say this is the masculine thing, in no way do I mean men should be out of the picture, because life would not be as fulfilling for me as it is if we overruled that aspect. So usually in the more masculine visions of let's center, let's ground, let's come to this space of stability, it would be like, okay, so let's see it all together in the same way, in a very precise structure. And I mean, not to say that this is bad, right? But I actually learned to meditate this way. The 5-point, who was in a Buddhist school at some point, 5-point meditation, 5, right? So, okay, is my head this way? Are my feet pointing to the north, south, whatever? So it's precision, right? Which is a good enough tool for whenever we need those kinds of tools. But the feminine works in a different way. But of course, the very mature feminine will have the wisdom to know when I can pick one or the other. So it's not about, oh, if we're feminine, we're only get to wear skirts and wear flowers on our top of our head. You can wear them whenever the fuck you want, but you don't have to, because that's gonna be already tending toward the masculine. Am I making sense? So this is how I love to start centering from a feminine perspective, and it's taking my body and receiving it as it is right now, as it is. If I'm angry, if I'm irritated, my first moment is not I should get rid of that and go into this centered, pretty, polished place. The first thing that I do is, this is where I am right now, as I am. I am doubtful of being here in this weird Zoom place, or I am happy to be here, or I am tired. And allowing a mindful hug. And what I mean by mindful is the intention of receiving myself as I am right now. Yes. Later, we'll get into the 4-point, 5-point precision. But for now, it's greeting myself at the door with a hug as I am. And from there, allowing the breath to take hold, take charge of my state. And usually, doesn't have to happen, but usually what happens is the breath starts to deepen. And it does so softly on its own. Mm-hmm. And if you're like, no, I'm still thinking about that thing the conversation I just had, allow that resistance to also be in the body. And it's the child who's in the back, who's, I still want to play a little bit more. And you already have 5 kids in the car and there's one that's lingering back. That's fine. I just need to bring you along whenever I'm ready to leave, right? So breathing in, allowing the thoughts and the sensations that can settle. And later, maybe just from watching, the rest of the sensations and thoughts might want to join. Yeah. And if there's a part of you that is resisting, usually, and I have this whenever I come into a new class, a new teacher, a new group, I'm like, wait, I do want to meditate, but am I safe enough? Do I want to do it? And let's allow that part to be skeptical, to guard for my safety, to guard for my preferences. Maybe we can just soften its edges just a bit, but allowing it to be. Great. I love to see the yawning and the softening. How is this landing for you? How is the landing? Good. Perfect. Okay, so this is another way of coming into my center, into being stable or whatever it is we want to achieve with a meditation, with a centering practice. Coming home. It can be through the rigidity of this is where you got to be seated with your seatbelt on, straightforward. That's a way, works sometimes. And there's also another way that's, as Kimberly's sharing the chat, feels caring, respectful, and it has the ability to take us to great places. All right. So this space, the intention of this space is about female empowerment. And of course, being within the embodiment community, it's about bringing that into the body. Why is it important to talk about power? Why don't men have a group about power? Why do we have to sit down and talk about these things? They should. Yes. Yeah. Women are historically subjugated. Men historically have gotten a certain type of power. It's expected. Power has been molded into something women are not allowed to have. Yes. So this is relatively common knowledge by now that historically we haven't been able to hold positions of power. We could go into big philosophical debates that women do have power, but it's used on other subtle ways, that we go into, sneakier ways of power. I mean, yes, but the assertive power of saying, this is what I want, this is what I want to go get, and actually going to get it, that is the power we are referring to, which is the power to change the environment, to create an effect that means somebody, usually they have these scribbles in, toilets or the walls in schools or something, like somebody was here. Have you seen people write that? So that means that I dared shift that blank space and make a change. And with that change, my name is in it. So the fact that I am here in the earth today creates a ripple effect, and allowing myself to acknowledge it and to take part of it, because we don't usually realize how powerful we can be. And I don't mean to be poetical or motivational, but the fact that I am sitting here is creating some effect, right? You might remember some of the words that I say in 5 weeks or in 5 years, because this usually happens. We are creating effects even when we are unaware of it. So we have a place in the world by being here. And this redefining our relationship to power means that we actually guide that power and that intention somewhere we actually want it to go. And not just, I was here, and whoever looks at me, may they think something nice about me and go on in their merry life. But I'm just like a wallpaper where I don't have any influence or direction into what's happening.